Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol, a podcast where we discuss all things USMT y la selección mexicana. My name is Adrian, and you guys are stuck with me today for the first half of this video. Adrian and I have been really busy this Friday, this week, and we're not able to get together on a time to record the preview for USMT Panama and Mexico for Valencia. So the first half of this video will be me talking about USMT Panama. The second half of this video will be Adrian Cruz talking about the Mexico Valencia match. So we'll leave in the description below the timestamps for that. So if you're here for the USMNT preview, you can just hit on that. If you're here for both, stay through that and watch the whole video. We appreciate it. And if you're here for just the Mexico Valencia portion, we'll have a link for that, so you can just hit on that part. But let's get into it. This USMNT vs Panama match is one that's going to be played in Austin, Texas, on Saturday, October 12th, around 8 p.m. Central Time. And it's interesting and really hyped just because of not necessarily because of the location, not necessarily because of the rival, but obviously because of the new big hire for USMNT, Mauricio Pochettino, new head coach replacing Triple G after 6 years of Triple G madness. A lot of folks were clamoring, were wondering, when Triple G was going to get sacked. Finally got sacked, and Mauricio Pochettino is now in charge. And this is the first match, first international window for the USMNT, one that has a lot of hype to it, and the federation has been releasing a lot of snippets, shorts of the training sessions, how they've been going. And it looks like he has them running their butts off. A lot of physicality there in the first training sessions. Tim Ream came out and said that he had never done a training session over 2 hours for any of his USMNT 14-year career. So that's interesting. I don't know what Bradley, Jürgen Klinsmann, Triple G were doing if they weren't training for 2 hours a day. That doesn't seem like a lot. But Mauricio Pochettino right away has them training a lot, which has left a lot of people wondering and hoping that this doesn't lead to injuries. As we saw in Pochettino's last season with Chelsea, he had a lot of injuries. So maybe his intensity with a lot of these training sessions, are too intense, causing injuries. But that could be a topic for another video. Today we're here, like I said, to discuss and preview USMNT versus Austin versus Panama. Since we made the video for the USMNT roster reactions, there were some drops that had to be replaced. We saw Alex Adejas come in, we saw Brandon Vasquez come in, and we saw Tanner Tessman come into the lineup, to the roster. So USA Panama had what is the possible formation? We saw Pochettino earlier in the week come out and say that he's going to be most likely playing a 4-3-3 formation. He's not going to change up, reinvent the wheel here. Just play something that the USMNT is used to under the previous system, and from there make tweaks. So we might see a different formation against Mexico, but most likely this first international window will be similar formations here for the USMNT. A possible starting lineup, I think he'll play Schulte in goal with Fossey, McKenzie Robinson, Miles Robinson, and Anthony Robinson in the back four. In the midfielder, we can see McKennie, Musa, and Aronson. And up right, we most likely see Pulisic, Vasquez, and on the wing, Hajiwright. A lineup where he won't go all out, saving a lot of his starters for the Mexico match, but he definitely will be playing some heavy hitters to try to get the result, try to start his tenure for the USMNT with a solid win. How does USMNT stack up against Panama? The USMNT has won 18 matches in their career against Panama, lost 5 and drawn 4. The last 5 matches have really gone to Panama's favor. The most recent match, USA versus Panama in the Copa America, Panama knocked them out embarrassingly, 2-1 win for Panama. Before that, in the Gold Cup, Panama won, eliminating the USA. Before that, USA won in the FIFA World Cup qualifying, 5-1. And before that, again, in the FIFA World Cup qualifying for the 2022 World Cup, 1-0 win for Panama in Panama. And before that, a 6-2 international friendly win for the USA back in November 2020. So from the last 5 matches, 3 have gone Panama's way, and 3 important ones, and 2 have gone the USMNT's way. So this one, obviously, not a lot of importance to it. It's a partido molero, a friendly. We know that these matches are meaningless for the most part, but it is a good reflection and good measuring stick to see how this USMNT team will be playing under Pochettino. If they're going to be, oftentimes you get a new coach in and you play with a lot more intensity because you're trying to earn the respect of that coach and, the starting lineup. So I'm predicting a win for the USMNT, maybe a 3-1, 2-1 win. Pretty solid win for the USMNT here. Players going to be playing, at all full intensity, trying to make that starting lineup spot theirs for the new coach, trying to impress their new coach. And I think they'll turn it around here and finally beat Panama here for the first time, I guess, since 2022. But yeah, I mean, a match that the real interesting match, obviously, for this international window is USMNT Mexico. So keep it here with PPG as we'll preview that one, in the coming days. But I'll send over to my tocayo now, who will be previewing Mexico versus Valencia. Adrian, it's all up to you, man.
Hey, thank you, Tocayo, for passing me the ball. I'm out here in Monterrey. I'm going to have a wedding of a longtime friend. That's why I'm out here in La Tierra Regia. And that's why I'm not watching El Clásico Regio with PPG fam, with those winners of the giveaway in San Antonio, Texas. But I digress. I'm here to do the preview of Mexico against Valencia. This is a match that, funny enough, that you were asking me if it was going to be a closed door match because of the very low publicity and talk points that a lot of the pundits here in Mexico and the United States as well were touching upon. So yes, this is going to be a match that is going to be televised. Actually, it has been a very sore point for a few people, Doña Fede specifically, because it has had very low popularity in terms of tickets sold. So we shall see a Estadio Cuauhtémoc, the House of Puebla, of a Pueblita, to be quite empty for this match. That is a problem that we have seen not only for the Mexican team in playing in the United States, but also in Liga MX, as the attendance to the stadiums are dwindling down from the peak and the highs of 2019 and 2021, if I'm not mistaken, after COVID. So this is something that is still impacting football, not only in Mexico but everywhere. But this is not time for me to add commentary on what's going on the global environment of football, right? But anyways, I go back to the main topic, which is Mexico against Valencia. If there, I know we always make fun and say that if there was an example of a partido molero, it's always like Mexico against Bosnia, Uzbekistan, or whatever in the United States. But this is another example of a good intention becoming a extremely high partido molero. And this is why Valencia right now is not doing hot whatsoever. They are ranked number 18, if I'm not mistaken, out of 20 in La Liga. So they are in the relegation zone. On top of that, they have only made, if I'm not mistaken, anywhere between 8 to 9 points. Let me double check real quick. But they have only won. Yes, they have made exactly 9 points. They have won one match, draw 3, and lost 5. So yeah, they are not necessarily a team to be afraid of. I think when we all heard that Mexico was going to play a La Liga club, and it turned out to be Valencia, we all felt that it was going to be a higher, a bigger challenge, a more difficult match for Mexico, understanding that Valencia is a historic team on La Liga, and also keeping in mind that Valencia hasn't been necessarily a great team or a very competitive team in La Liga for over the last 5 years. They have been in a very difficult roller coaster with their owners and whatever. But again, I digress. This Valencia team isn't necessarily, or appears that it shouldn't be, a huge complication for Mexico. On top of just being on the relegation zone and not playing well, they have multiple players out due to international duty, as well as injuries. Just to give you a good example, their most expensive player, who is their goalkeeper, and I think under the name of Marmabashvili, Georgi Mamardashvili. All right, I'm probably butchering the name. I apologize to all of my European, specifically Georgian European followers. But yeah, he will not be playing for Valencia this time around, as he got called up for the Georgian national team. And Valencia doesn't have a second string goalkeeper, so they're going to bring one of their youth goalkeepers to be the starting player for this match. And that isn't the only position that he's doing. That I heard and I read that maybe some other defenders, midfielders, and even offensive players are also going to be youth or academy players with Valencia. So if there was a chance for Mexico to have a blowout game, score once, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals, this could be the chance to have that blowout match, and maybe gain some respect back from all the Mexican fans. But that's Valencia, right? Not necessarily a great team right now. They're not poised to be a difficult match again for Mexico. But let's focus on Mexico now, right? As you may have saw on one of our previous episodes where we reacted to the roster of El Vasco Aguirre, the biggest update there is that Henry Martin got called off the list due to injury, and Eric Lira was called up on his absence. So El Vasco Aguirre decided not to bring another striker, as he has Memote Martinez, Raul Jimenez as the two strikers for this match. And so he brought up someone like Eric Lira, who arguably has had a very interesting season with Cruz Azul this Apertura and had a strong Clausura season with Cruz Azul back in 2023 or earlier this year. My bad, like on the spring of 2024. So maybe we shall see Eric Lira taking the role of Luis Romo on this specific match. And now, talking about the match, right? Since this is a national team playing against a club, it's kind of hard to find historical data. I was unable to find any specific one-on-one between Mexico and Valencia. PPG fan, if you know or have the data of when Mexico played against Valencia, because I think this is unprecedented. At least I was unable to find a time where they played. But if I'm wrong, please leave it in the comments below. Tell me what's the score, and just let me know that I need to do better, and I will for the next time. But for this time around, yeah. So what does this mean for Mexico? I personally think, and this is just my opinion, that this game, given that the stakes aren't that high, and understanding that the big game and the game that you need to win at all costs is against the Usmnt next Tuesday, I think this should be a match for Mexico to essentially, put a random lineup and use this time to test players that you feel have the skills and the game style and the performance needed for El Vasco Aguirre to finally decide who is worth to be part of the starting 11 and who is a player to be on the bench, right? To be that emergency call up if one of your starting 11 players gets injured, right? This will be a good time to see if Verderame will be a good fit for what Vasco Aguirre needs to do. When we shared this before, we all think that Verderame is not getting called up to be a number 9, but to be more of a winger that provides a lot of support when doing high pressure and those routes of it hurts. It sounds very bad in Spanish because I think it's called líneas de acoso or movimientos de acoso, which in English will be like translated to an H word, lines of H, right? But it's just the pressure lines that Mexico has to build so they don't allow the opposition to come out playing from the back. So this is what I believe Vasco should do, but focusing on what I think will be the starting 11 for this match, I can tell that the biggest question here will be, should you play Memo Ochoa as the starting keeper, with the understanding that Luis Angel Malagon would be your number one option. That's why he will play against the USMNT, right? But I think that will be the biggest question there. Nonetheless, doing some of research and hearing what the pundits are saying and the insiders, it looks like the goalkeeper will be Luis Angel Malagon from America. The defenders are Rodrigo Huescas from Copenhagen as a right back, Cesar Montes from Lokomotiv, and Johan Vázquez from Genoa as the center backs, and Brian Gonzalez from Pachuca as the left back for Mexico. In the middle, we have Luis Romo from Cruz Azul, Andrés Guardado from León, and this is another interesting name that a lot of people have reached out to us and asked us, hey, what's up with Andrés Guardado there? PPG fam, please be calm, remain steady, as this is his last dance game. This is a game for him to say goodbye. This is his last dance, as I said. Es un partido de homenaje para Andrés Guardado. And so, don't fret. He probably just going to play for the first 45 minutes. And even if he plays the 90 minutes, I don't think it really matters at this point on, because he's not going to be featured in any upcoming matches. Then we have Ociel Herrera from Tigres and Alexis Vega from Toluca. And the two strikers, or the two offensive players that we'll see, are Germán Berterame and Raúl Jiménez from Fulham, Germán Berterame from Monterrey. This tells me that I believe El Vasco is going to be playing with a rhomboid formation with the 4 defenders, 2 central midfielders in the name of Luis Romo and Andrés Guardado, and then you'll have the open wingers with Ociel Herrera and Alexis Vega, and then you're going to have Germán Berterame and Raúl Jiménez as the 2 strikers. And I say strikers because most likely Jiménez will be the 1 striker and Germán Berterame will be the offensive player, or their striker that will have pretty much free will to move around and help with the pressure lines that I just mentioned previously. So that's what we believe will be the starting 11 for Mexico. And I think this is pretty much it. This is a preview for the match against Valencia. I think Mexico will win 3-1, something like that. That's my expectation, again, because Valencia is going to have a good amount of youth players, at least 4 from what I've been reading, and one of them being their goalkeeper. So again, I think this should be a match for Mexico to take advantage. use those players that are new to the roster that Vasco Aguirre thinks can benefit the team in the long term, or at least between now and 2026. And hopefully we'll get to see a bunch of goals, and at least the fans in Puebla, the ones who do go to the match, have a great show for them to enjoy, go back happy, and set off for a marvelous Sunday. All right, so this is it. This is the preview for Mexico. Tocayo, I'll go back with you, but before doing so, I would like all here to always remember to find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, enter on the notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast on. Last but not least, you can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. We post memes, latest news, and shorts of our episodes. And I want to say congratulations to Felix Espinosa and Alfie Cruz, who are the winners of our Clásico Regio giveaway. I hope y'all guys have a wonderful time watching El Clásico Más Pasional de México in San Antonio, Texas. And again, thank you so much for showing all the love and appreciation, both here on YouTube and as well on our social media accounts. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure.